The atmosphere behind the scenes at Newcastle United is absolutely insane right now. Something big is happening. A lot of movement, urgent meetings, phone calls and conversations that nobody wants to confirm. But it's becoming very clear that something massive is about to explode. And when one of the most important names in the squad starts being discussed as part of a possible deal, well, that's when you know things are getting really serious at St. James Park. Trust me, this news is going to shock a lot of people. And if you, just like me, are the type of fan who always wants to stay one step ahead, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. It's absolutely vital to stay fully updated with everything happening behind the scenes at Newcastle. This way you won't miss any details. You'll get the latest updates firsthand, and you'll help support this channel to keep bringing you hot news straight from top sources like Team Talk, the Daily Mail, and Craig Hope, who are following everything very closely. The truth is, what often looks settled inside a football club usually isn't. There's a movement happening right now that, not long ago, nobody thought was possible. A situation directly involving a player well known to all of us, someone who arrived at Newcastle with huge expectations, real quality, strong numbers, but incredibly, could be living his final days wearing black and white. And no, we're not talking about just any player. We're talking about someone considered absolutely key to the squad. Well, here's the moment you've been waiting for. According to reports from Team Talk and also confirmed by journalist Craig Hope from the Daily Mail, Newcastle United are indeed prepared to sell Harvey Barnes. Yes, that's right, the very same Barnes who joined the club in 2023 for £39 million, scored 14 goals in 63 appearances, and despite showing his quality, spent most of the season playing second fiddle to Anthony Gordon. And what's even more surprising is that this decision to potentially move on from Harvey Barnes isn't purely based on his performance, it's actually part of a much bigger strategy. The goal to financially unlock one of Newcastle's top transfer targets since last season, Anthony Elanga from Nottingham Forest. And make no mistake, this is not an easy deal. Forest have made it crystal clear they'll only let Elanga leave for a fee of at least £60 million. By the way, if you're enjoying this complete coverage and want to stay fully updated on every single step of this negotiation, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This is how you'll get every single update firsthand about this transfer saga that's already heating up the Newcastle boardroom. And believe me, if this deal goes through, it's going to massively impact the squad. What's even more curious is that this isn't the first time Harvey Barnes' name has been involved in potential swap deals or negotiations. If you remember, back in January during the winter transfer window, there was a bombshell report claiming that Newcastle and Aston Villa had discussed a possible swap deal involving Barnes and Jacob Ramsey. At the time, Craig Hope himself revealed on his YouTube channel that the conversations happened but stalled after Barnes picked up an injury that same month. And it doesn't stop there. After that episode, many assumed the interest had cooled and the situation was over. But according to the Daily Mail's investigations, that idea came back strongly in May. However, up until now, the word from inside St. James Park was very clear. Harvey Barnes is not for sale. At least, that was the club's official stance. But as we all know, what's true in football today might not be true tomorrow. And it's important to point this out, even though the club publicly stated that Barnes would stay. The reality of the Premier League's profit and sustainability rules (PSR) forces every club, including Newcastle, to think very carefully about their squad balance both on the pitch and financially. Sometimes, no matter how valuable a player is on the pitch, the financial reality ends up speaking louder, especially when there's a clear opportunity to strengthen another key position. And let's be honest, Anthony Elanga is no ordinary player. Since last season, he's been attracting a lot of attention at Nottingham Forest. Fast, skillful, versatile, and still very young, Elanga perfectly fits the profile of players Eddie Howe wants for this new phase at Newcastle. And honestly, it's no exaggeration to say that if this transfer happens, it could be one of the biggest and most expensive in the club's history. Of course, a deal of this size is never simple. There are loads of variables being discussed behind the scenes. Forest, for example, knows exactly how valuable Elanga is and has absolutely no intention of making things easy. They've made it very clear that they will only accept an offer in the region of £60 million. And that's exactly where the idea comes in to use Barnes as part of the deal, lowering the cash value needed to get it done. And if you, as a passionate fan, want to stay right on top of this negotiation, don't waste any time. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and stay tuned, because at any moment, a massive update could drop. And as we all know, things at Newcastle tend to move fast, and often when nobody expects it. In fact, a source very close to the club told Team Talk that, despite the public line that Barnes is not for sale, internally there is already a consensus that if the right offer comes in, he will be allowed to leave. That's because, beyond making Elanga's arrival possible, selling Barnes would also help balance the books and free up space in the wage bill for further reinforcements. It's also important to note that Aston Villa isn't the only club interested in Harvey Barnes. According to the Daily Mail, there are at least 2 other Premier League clubs actively monitoring the situation, and the more interest there is, the higher the chances that Newcastle could get a fee close to or even above the £50 million asking price. So here's the big question. Newcastle fans, is it really worth sacrificing Harvey Barnes to bring in Anthony Elanga? It's one of those debates that splits opinion among fans in the stands and in the WhatsApp groups. On one hand, Barnes has quality, knows the squad well, understands the system, and showed especially towards the end of last season that he can be decisive. On the other hand, Elanga brings youth, pace, and crucially long-term potential for growth. Either way, one thing's for sure, this transfer drama is far from over. The coming weeks are going to be red hot, with loads of behind-the-scenes talks, offers being made, counter-offers coming in, and maybe, just maybe, that shock announcement we all know Newcastle are capable of. So once again, if you want to stay fully on top of all this, make sure you subscribe right now. That way, you won't miss a thing. And for those who always want the most reliable info, remember that everything shared here has been checked and confirmed by top-tier sources like Team Talk, the Daily Mail, and of course Craig Hope, who has been closely following everything at St. James Park for years. This isn't just rumor, this is a real situation that could absolutely change the direction of Newcastle United in this transfer window. Now it's a waiting game. Fans, the transfer market is wide open, conversations are happening, and at any moment, everything could change. So stay tuned, because if there's one thing we've learned about Newcastle in recent years, it's that the surprises never stop. And of course, as soon as anything happens, you'll hear it right here on this channel.